is practicing my 6 samurai skills for, when the real shit goes down. But until then, I wanted to thank our sponsor at Skillshare who are helping to make this possible. And because, honestly, right now, I don't think there's any better time to improve on a skill that you want to improve on or pick up a new one. Skillshare is a creative learning community that can help you take a hobby and maybe turn it into something a little bit more. You got classes on photography, videography, creative writing, illustration, animation, anything creative you can think of, they probably got something for it.
But why listen to me rattle this stuff off when you can check it out yourself? Because the first 1,000 of our subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity yourself.
And thank you again to Skillshare. Now on, the Talkcast Podshow. Tonight!
Hello and welcome to the Talkcast Podshow, the #1 show on the internet and always ready for that second Scooby snack. I'm Lanny, your host, and I'm joined this week by editor extraordinaire and lover of all things Bara.
Like Zoinks, man. I'm Kaiser Neko. Thanks for having me on.
And we're joined by cartoon enthusiast Zito.
Oh, hello. You took my bit, Kaiser. I couldn't do it.
You're Scooby.
Listen.
He's got the scuba makara on. Apparently I'm Fred.
Scooby Makara. Yeah, and you're Fred.
Why couldn't I be Velma, Bracky?
You know what? If I could have told him to make you Velma. I just thought it would be better as Fred. I could have had him make it Velma.
Hey, it works.
Listen, I could have had the worst alternative.
I can rock an ascot, man.
I could have had the worst alternative, and you could have just come to me and said, "Hey Zito, do you want to be Scooby?" And instead, that was the nice thing you did. What you could have done is just said, "Just make him Scrappy. Don't worry about it."
Oh! Oh! You know, that would have been that. If I had made you Scrappy, you could have filed a work complaint. This is harassment.
For those listening to this on one of many podcast avenues, there is wonderful art that the incredibly talented Brachiozoid made for us that features us as Scooby and the gang.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Feel free to check that out over on YouTube or probably on Twitter as well. You'll be able to find this places. So, the King of Cartoons is back.
What, again?
Hamilton Ward?
No, do you not remember back in the mid 2000s, Cartoon Network had an election? Oh, the president of cartoons.
Oh,
that's what
right. It was
Yeah.
That
Scooby-Doo.
cartoon election, and Scooby-Doo won, despite I don't know how this particular cartoon has done it, but it has maintained cultural relevance for its entire run, 50, almost 60 years now.
Turner has this weird thing. Turner has this weird thing when it comes to their cartoons, because a lot of it is just tropey shit that they pick a trope like sci-fi, like sci-fi action or Pulp Fiction 60s comic, and then they have like the sitcom sort of thing where it's just like a talking animal and they solve mysteries, and when they stick to that one thing, they make copies of it over and over again to see what sticks, and Turner just, again, makes cartoons where it's like either you don't care for it, or you're in all the fucking way.
Yes.
It's just something so, it's weird to call Scooby-Doo timeless, and yet because it's based wholly and completely in, 60s and 70s nomenclature, but it just maintains its aesthetic. The Mystery Machine holds up, even Shaggy's, mannerisms of talking even the movie kind of lampshades it, the way an adult thinks a young hippie talks.
Yeah.
Still holds.
It's because they do this thing where they evolve, they do the smart thing when it comes to character design for any sort of brand. They evolve in time.
I can't
shortly,
appreciate...
though, really, really tiny bits of evolution here and there.
I can appreciate what they've done in modern Scooby films, with Zombie Island and the subsequent film. Oh, what was the one after that?
You call that modern.
Oh,
Kaiser, that came out when I was 12, 11?
And Scooby-Doo came out in 1969.
Yes, but you're talking about it being modern, and that was still a decade ago. It doesn't matter how many further decades there were back. Scooby-Doo has been going out the entire time.
I'm just saying, in those films, they modernized their outfits, and they worked pretty well. And other films and other TV shows, they've tried to update their looks time and time again, and they usually hit the mark. I'd have to say there was that one that came out very recently that was incredibly strange and more reminiscent of Family Guy than Scooby-Doo. I can't even remember what its name was.
Scooby-Doo meets the WWE.
Oh God, there's that too. So okay, let's talk about Scoob, like the actual movie, because I think
sure.
Yeah, because man, this was a weird fucking watch, you guys.
There and I will say there actually are kind of a few spoilers that you could go into while talking about this film. Like I when I watched the trailer for it, I'm like, this seems pretty straightforward. But I was surprised that some of the twists that I thought I saw coming didn't come to pass. Overall, I thought it was just a very nice family film.
Yeah, I must be a jaded person then, because I fucking called out every fucking story beat for beat, like 10 minutes before it happened.
Certainly. Like, the reason that I say that, like, I thought there were going to be some twists that happened that didn't, just because, you know, my brain is jaded, like, full circle, that if you do something by the numbers, I'm not going to see it coming.
That's fair.
So I'm with you, Zito. I called every single twist in the movie, like literally every single twist, with one exception, only because it was fucking dumb. And so yeah, no, like literally every twist in the movie I called way beforehand. But I will say to the audience, we're gonna go through the film. When we feel like we're really getting into that territory, though, where spoiler warning will apply, we'll tell you. But I don't think we'll spend the whole usual 10 minutes at the beginning talking about a non-spoiler version. We'll just talk about the movie, and when we get to the point where it's like, okay, if you haven't seen it and want to, you might want to tune out.
There was this one weird thing that happened in the film that, not spoiler territory, but like watching the film itself. What platform did you guys watch the film on?
YouTube.
I watched it on Amazon. I just, I have the app downstairs on my smart television. I was like, yeah, rent it, play it. I'm going to go make some popcorn, come back in. By the way, for movies like this where you definitely don't need a big screen experience, I fucking love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good platform, but I have to ask, was the audio really fucking terribly mixed in this movie, or am I crazy?
It was fine for me. I have a pretty good sound system, though.
Yeah, it was fine for me. Can't say I had any problems.
Were you watching it on your television or on your computer?
I was watching it I was watching it on my computer, and it was through Amazon, and the audio mixing was just terrible. It was really it was all over the place. Like,
that's weird.
The characters spoke really low, and the music track and the sound effects were really high.
I cannot explain that. Everything for me sounded just fine.
I will say the music was really loud in some segments for me, but that was only like an occasional thing.
Okay, so I guess it's just my own crazy bullshit that happened. But anyway, we'll go back to the actual film. I was just like, was the only person who felt this, right?
When this movie started up, I'll be honest, I thought they screwed up the scripts. I thought we were getting like a droopy dog movie because it was so fucking depressing in the beginning.
I mean, yeah, because it's, little Shaggy. He's alone. He's got no friends.
And Scooby's there. He's alone. Well, I never had a family. It's like, Jesus.
God, it's uncanny to hear him speak in full sentences sometimes.
I'll say this, though. Like, I thought it was hilarious. I actually kind of really dug on the way that Scooby communicates in this movie. A lot of people complain about, like, oh, you can't have Scooby talking in full sentences. And I'm like, I don't know. I thought that was hilarious. I thought the fact that he was more communicable actually added to the comedy.
I'm really happy that they did away with the gag very early on, where it's just like, only Shaggy understands Scooby. It's like, nah, everyone understands him.
Was that a thing?
That was a thing.
It's one of those things. I think they lampshade it in Family Guy too, where it's like, okay, who can understand Brian? Does everybody understand? Like, who understand? No,
so
it's
do
not
people
Brian,
actually
Stewie.
fucking
hear
the baby?
Like, who can understand Stewie? Can everybody understand Stewie, or is it just the family that can't? But so there are some canons in Scooby-Doo where literally it seems to be only Shaggy talking to him. And then there are other ones where he's talking to everybody, including the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, dude, that was like the fucking episode of Venture Brothers where Shaggy is talking to his dog. Yours is the sword of Michael! Like, the dog's, like, telling him to kill people and shit, and only he can hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But,
this movie opens up with Shaggy meeting Scoob. We finally get the meet cute between these two, and I mean cute because...
You also mean meat.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot my protein, man!
Yeah.
Oh,
Giant
by the way...
cube the size of himself.
Oh, by the way, yeah, so...
He's, he gets that gyro, and I don't know what year that was supposed to be taking place. Was it supposed to be like the 90s?
It
It was
feels like
supposed to be
the
10
90s.
years
or
ago.
like the early oh god, it was the early, yeah, because Shaggy had like an iPad or an iPod.
Yep.
He's like walking around listening to depressing 60s and 70s music, just whatever song is making it sound real lonely that day.
Yeah, there were some weird anachronisms throughout the entire movie, though. But I want to point out something, and I gotta point this out. So this was a very telling sign of how much the creators gave a shit about the old actors and old Scooby, because Scoob steals shawarma, and one of the first lines out of Shaggy's mouth is, "Can't believe I forgot the protein." And it's like, wait a second, he's gonna eat that meat, isn't he? Which is exactly what both Matthew Lillard and Casey Kasem, the last two voices of Shaggy, were against. Shaggy's been a vegetarian for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, didn't
And-
they also fucking, like, got rid of the voice actress of Daphne just to get the fucking, like, Hollywood clout?
Oh, yeah. The only actor that returned in this movie for their role is Frank Welker as Scooby-Doo, which is just the biggest shit because Frank Welker also has played Freddy for the last 50 fucking years with
Now it's Zac Efron.
And now it's Zac fucking Efron. And Gina Rodriguez is Velma, and Will Forte is the worst fucking Shaggy. Sorry, I want to talk about the actual film, and I'll get to the voice.
Well, no, this is actually a good thing to go off on because when you start watching it, as soon as they age up, which happens in a great sequence that's just a CGI recreation of the Scooby-Doo "Where Are You" title scene. Which
the original
I thought was
OG.
really cute.
Yeah, no, that was super cute. I didn't even catch what was happening and for the first 20 seconds, but when I realized what they were doing, I was actually pretty psyched.
You get to see some CG recreations of some of the classic monsters, including the laughing skull.
That dude is so fucking timeless. I love him. I love him so much. The fucking spaceman suit, laughing skeleton man. It's so
great.
good.
But then as soon as they pull back and it's Will Forte as Shaggy, it takes you a hot minute to get used to it because he's not even attempting to sound like Casey or
I mean, no, he
Lillard.
is. I feel like he is trying to do that voice,
but he's not.
Yeah, like
It's
the
weird,
way that I actually described it was, this sounds like a live action film interpreting Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Except it's not, because Matthew Lillard played him in the actual movies and he plays him in the cartoons too. Ah!
Which is hysterical because I love that one bit where it's like him in live action and then they actually like rotoscope Scooby and Shaggy where it was Casey and Frank, and Casey was just like, "You made me sound like a total space cadet," even though he picked him because he taught him how to be Shaggy.
Exactly. Like, I love the fact Casey Kasem told Matthew Lillard, "Hey, I choose you." And Matthew Lillard's like, "I'll do my best and I'll keep him vegetarian." And then this fucking movie comes out and they're like, "Sorry, Matthew Lillard, we know you were picked by the original voice, but you can get the fuck out. We're gonna make him eat meat and sound depressed all of the fucking time."
Hollywood clout, man, I told you.
And then it's really sad when you talk about Grey Delisle as Daphne, because her voice actress, and this is about to get really dark, so by the way, heads up.
Yeah, it's gonna go places.
The original voice actress for Daphne committed suicide, but told Grey, and Grey was supposed to take up the role, and the original voice actress's family went to her and said, "No, you need to play her. You're the one that she wanted to play Daphne." Grey Delisle's been playing Daphne in almost all of the cartoons ever since. But no, let's just replace all of them with like mid high tier actors who really don't need to be doing voice acting because they've got their own fucking careers going on. Why is Zac Efron Fred? I mean, I love Gina Rodriguez, and she's actually pretty good as Velma. But like, you have Kristen, I think it was Kristen Shaw. Was it Kristen Shaw?
It always confuses me why they do this with specifically children's movies. Because kids don't give a shit.
You don't need to fucking do this. They don't care who Zac Efron is. They don't give a fuck.
There's a little special that came out a little while from John Mulaney called John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch. I'm not huge on the special itself. I think it had like a few good moments in it. But there was one skit in it that I really liked, which was John Mulaney basically playing a person running a... basically, like, he just showed a bunch of kids a screener for a animated movie that was coming out, and he was asking the kids, like, what they thought of certain things. It was like, so who was it that played the lonely slug? And one of the kids holds up their hands. It was one of those voices that I think I know who that is, but then I can't really place it. And he's just like, it was Jeremy Renner. It's like, I knew it! Kids don't give a shit about who's voicing these characters, so I really don't understand why Hollywood does it other than to, I don't know, maybe there's some, like, family movie press junket that I just don't quite understand.
I think it's for the adults. Like, hey, so, these actors that you're familiar with, at least when you come in to see this movie you don't want to see, you're going to be familiar with these guys, right?
But then I must ask you the question, because I honestly don't know. Who the fuck is Will Forte?
I mean, Will Forte's done some stuff lately. I mean, he's more of a TV actor, if I'm correct.
Okay.
I can quickly help you out with that.
I know he was big on The Last Man on Earth and Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, he was MacGruber.
Yes, he was MacGruber.
Who the fuck cares about MacGruber?
Hey, he was the main character in The Willoughbys. That was a good film.
The what?
The Willoughbys. It's on Netflix.
That sounded fake for a hot second. I'm sorry.
Oh, you should watch it. It was good.
Hold on, I'm on IMDb. He was King Toot in The Simpsons. So yeah, no need to get Matthew Lillard when you have big name Will Forte.
Oh, he was on Tim and Eric Awesome Show. There's the fucking Turner Pole. There's the Turner Pole we needed.
He was in Bob's Burgers.
He was in Gravity Falls too, apparently.
I legit don't understand that casting change. That one is weird.
Especially when he just... Man, he doesn't sound like Shaggy. He sounds like a guy who's not meant for the voice, trying to do a Shaggy impression and failing.
I don't understand, like, were they trying to go in a new direction maybe, or maybe there must be some weird behind the scenes thing happening that
if you take a look at
this had to take place.
If you take a look at the script and the way that they modeled the characters, they were definitely trying to make them, more realistic. That was kind of the whole goal with them, is that, they can still be funny and in versions of those characters. Fred's kind of an idiot, but he's gung-ho for the action. Daphne is, a little bit self-absorbed and pretty, but...
Well, remember they had to use, fucking, MMO terminology to get people to understand, you're the tank.
You're the tank. You're the brains, and you're the...
Yo, okay, I'm gonna call myself out on here, but... I'm gonna call myself out on here and put myself on blast because I fucking saw this one cartoon because I was looking at it for animation purposes when I was back in college. A lot of the models in this cartoon, immediately when we get to the adult versions of the characters, they turn into this weird, just on model but not on model versions of them. All of a sudden, there was this one cartoon that had no business being good, but I had to watch it, and I was just like, holy shit, this is kind of really stupid good. I'm gonna say this out loud. Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense actually.
And all of the characters except for anyone who is super characterized like Scoob or Shaggy, because of their body types, the rest of the cast look like they're characters from that show.
Yeah.
the thing that caught me off on this movie, like something that I also started to notice is going on, all of these characters look like they came out of Hotel Transylvania.
Yes, they do. They do. It looks like Sony Pictures, and I'm just like, wait, is this Sony or Warner Brothers? What the fuck are you doing?
I can't get over the fact that literally every character that's not the main cast looks awful. Like, every human being in the film looks like they had about 10 minutes spent on their general model and they were thrown on screen.
But I mean, Scott, but that's fucking Hanna-Barbera in a nutshell.
I mean, look, you may not be wrong, but that didn't make the film look and feel any less incredibly cheap. By the way, this film looks and feels incredibly cheap. I'm gonna be real honest.
Oh no, it does feel cheap.
There are parts where I could feel that. Certain parts, I don't know. Like, it did feel like it was very welcome in the direct-to-video market.
Yeah.
But I could also see this hitting the big screen.
I mean, it is definitely the lower range of acceptable, but it is acceptable. And I think one of the things that actually worked very well is that while most of them, I'll be honest with you, Fred barely looks like Fred, Daphne looks mostly like Daphne. Velma's interesting because they made her Hispanic, and like they actually run with that. And you know, she continues to be best girl, so whatever. But fucking Shaggy and Scooby look exactly like they should. Like, quite frankly, they look perfect for this film. Even if I, again, am not a huge fan of Will Forte's performance as Shaggy, they look great, and Scoob is all throughout the film perfect.
I am holding myself back right now because there's a lot of things I could talk about that relate to what you're talking about, but we can't get to because we're in spoiler territory.
We'll get there. But I love actually the way that Scooby looks and acts throughout this film. He's just generally a good presence. He's funny. Fucking, you can tell that Frank Welker is not trying to phone this in. He's having a good time. But
he's been with the character how many years? I'm sure he's just like, I don't want to fuck this up. This is like my childhood, man. Yeah. This is my early career come to life. I gotta make this right.
Fred's head seemed a little big to me.
Yeah,
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like he's got that Jay Leno chin going. I kind of remember him like he had a smaller head in the originals, right? Like pointed chin maybe, but like not. He didn't have like that fucking jaw, that Bruce Campbell jaw down there. I feel like they were building Scoob's character model, and then they're like, this one looks a little too humanoid. Slap it on Fred. And then they started to redo Scoob.
But yeah, so oh god, I'm looking at a picture now. Oh, wow, you're right.
Right?
What? I mean, okay, so he had a really big chin in the original, so I guess that was what they were trying to go for here. But
I guess I do not remember that. Like,
strong jaw Fred is what they call him.
He's like a pelican. He could like scoop up a whole like school of fish.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna post this in the fucking. Oh, I can't post it. Shit. I found a picture of him from that new Scooby series that is more similar to fucking Family Guy than it is Scoob. Look at that.
That's gonna make for some real interesting listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, yeah. So designs in this movie all over the fucking map. But so at the very beginning, we get this whole recreation. By the way, I just wanted to point out, remember the fucking kids? The fucking kids who were bullying Shaggy and Scooby?
you mean the Juggalos?
Yeah,
the social Juggalo warriors?
Yeah, after the fucking Juggalos come and mug Scooby and Shaggy for their Halloween candy.
Yeah, and then Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Velma, Wonder Woman, Daphne, and then I guess Fred's just a knight. He doesn't
just
get
a knight in shining armor.
Yeah, he doesn't get a.
He's a paladin. He's the tank.
Yeah, I guess so. They show up and save him. They have their whole opening sequence, and then
they have their first mystery where they go into the house and immediately are accosted by a man in a ghost outfit.
Yep.
Just all he had to do was fucking hide.
With one of my favorite lines, by the way, which was, I think we found the world's smallest Walmart.
Oh yeah, because this dude was like hoarding televisions or something, and they cracked the case, and therefore they decided, hey, we're gonna form a little club and do this forever. And then we time skip through the Scooby-Doo opening sequence, and it moves forward. I don't think we need to recap this whole plot, if I'm gonna be honest.
We don't. I was gonna get
that sounds like what you're doing here.
Okay. Fucking Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a Turner movie.
They needed an obligatory crossover, even though they have plenty of those, honestly.
Not really so much a crossover, but they just they need their Don Knotts or Phyllis Diller moment where it's just like one dude who shows up and they're famous.
But why? Why Simon Cowell? Why?
The script was probably written like dozens of years ago or something.
Yeah, it shows the age of the film.
Oh my god.
Or at least the age of the script. It does seem like it aged weirdly in some places.
Yeah. It's such a strange fucking addition. Like, and the film keeps coming back to him.
It's weird when one of the main cast members is a bigger celebrity than your guest star.
Yeah, actually.
I would arguably say Zac Efron bigger than Simon Cowell.
Yeah,
That's
I can feel that.
I'd argue that.
I think that's a little tough. I don't know if I could argue that.
Well, although we are talking about a guy who apparently forgets that he was in his fucking film that made him famous in the first place all the time.
Oh, right.
Like in interviews, he keeps going, I was in that? He can't remember how to sing any of the songs he did.
I mean, he's done a lot of drugs since then.
Yeah.
Who hasn't?
So...
Actually, the only film I really actually remember him from was Neighbors. Which I think is fine. I thought he was perfect in that, so... But yeah,
going on 30 was all right.
So Simon Cowell's in there. It's awful, and he looks awful, and he looked better in Shrek when he was relevant.
It's a super forced cameo. It just goes to show you that Scooby-Doo does not have the brand recognition that Muppets does, where Muppets just pulls in people left and right because everybody wants to be a part of Muppets.
Yeah, everyone wants to be the Muppets. But you know who is in this film?
Marky Mark.
I was actually gonna say Dick Dastardly, and he's
he
phenomenal.
Oh, I love Dick Dastardly in this, and his motivation was actually kind of touching.
Oh, so I called the motivation almost instantly, but it was really good. I was so happy they went the direction that I was 100 expecting them to go to. Like, when I heard what his plan was, I'm like, oh my god, he's going to blank, and then they did, and I was like, thank you, movie. I called what you wanted to do, and then you did it, and I enjoyed it. That's amazing.
The movie gave me an audible "aw" moment, and it was the moment he said, "There it is, my treasure," and he starts shoving shit out of the way. I'm like, "aw."
Yep. But we'll get to that. So yeah, Dick Dastardly in this, and he wants Scooby. He wants Scooby bad, and that's kind of the whole driving crux of the film, is that Dick Dastardly is after Scoob.
They're setting up the Wacky Races multiverse.
Right. Actually, that was going to be a way bigger thing in the original version of the movie. If you take a look at some of the concept art, fucking the shark's in there. The shark's in there, the chick from Wacky Races.
Jabberjaw, yep.
Yeah.
Dude, they tried desperately to make this the fucking Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe.
Which I'm okay.
They honestly, it feels like they have even if you're not necessarily huge on it, even if you're not huge on the backstage politics, I feel like they've made a pretty good step in making something like that.
They did.
Yeah.
They super did.
But yeah, we almost had Jabberjaw, and I'm really mad that we did. But
there's always sequels.
I guess
There's going to be.
Okay, well, we'll get to that, but so yeah, and of course Shaggy and Scooby get put out because Simon Cowell's like, you two are useless and you need to leave, and then they leave and they get accosted.
You're skipping the reason that they met with Simon Cowell,
right.
which was they're looking to like franchise out or expand Mystery Inc. and Simon Cowell is going to be a sponsor, but again, I don't want to recap the damn plot of this movie. You keep doing this.
I was trying to skip shit. You brought it back to that.
I'm not trying to. I want to talk about the movie. I don't want to talk about what happens in it.
I just want to talk about the fact that fucking Dick Dastardly looks like an actual animator friend of mine, and it fucking weirds me out.
Okay, well...
He's an absolute meme machine, and I love him. Like,
he's such a joy to watch when he moves.
Dick!
Yeah.
Oh my god, him? Like, there is him, and and two other characters in this entire film that I'm just like, they put way too much love and dedication into these characters, and it works so fucking well.
Yeah.
So,
Like, Dick,
so
Dick was
yeah.
the time. They spent a lot of time on Dick.
they dicked it up. They dicked it up hard.
A lot of dicking around in this movie.
Hard Williams
going
here.
hard on Dick.
Getting that Hard Williams in.
One of the things that I felt was kind of like off in this movie is that Scooby and Shaggy were obviously the main focus, and they put like a real weird forced like a forced strain on their relationship.
Oh,
when
God,
the
yeah.
Blue Falcon is there, and it's like, oh, Scooby's the important one. It felt super forced. I wasn't in on that because I'm like, we all know how this ends. Just stop.
So yeah, okay. I think it's at this point we're gonna get into some spoiler territory, and it's probably only gonna get worse from here.
I feel like this is I only intend to talk about mild spoilers at best, things that were mentioned in the trailer.
Well, I feel like you can't talk about the film as a whole unless you talk. Like, I don't think you can review this movie properly.
You got me in here. I'm gonna talk about cartoons, and that's unfortunately gonna open up a whole can of spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, then, at the very least, let me ask this,
Okay.
because a mild spoiler for this movie that I would give is that it actually focuses on a real supernatural thing that's going on.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Scooby movies that do that rather than go to the old concept of like, guy in a mask doing this thing? Like, do you like the actual like Zombie Islands, Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers
The
kind
best-
of like
I kinda
actual
do.
supernatural things?
The best Scooby-Doo series ever made was Mystery Incorporated, and it had no problem getting into the supernatural. I think the original concept of Scooby-Doo busting all these fake mysteries, or fake supernatural mysteries, I think that's fun. I think that's good. But I also think we did that.
But I always felt that the logical step for Scooby was always going to be, all right, you got guys in masks, and you got the science behind it, even though it was convoluted and stupid as shit. So what happens when you put people who try to make something logical into something that's completely illogical and no one knows how to handle anything, and yet somehow you come out on top? I like that. I don't mind that that's the next logical step for them. But then again, that makes me feel like, oh god, that means like the next logical step is going to be the cosmic season, and then they're going to go into space and meet Space Ghost and shit.
Hell yeah!
Oh, then the Herculoids show up. I thought that was going to happen in this fucking movie.
There is a lot of sci-fi in this movie with Blue Falcon and Dick Dasher. They have a lot of weirdo future science tech.
Dude, the
And
next
they also
movie's...
go into... Sorry, what?
No,
go ahead.
sorry. I was gonna say, next movie, Zorak, an invasion of the planet Earth, and we get Space Ghost.
If they don't put George Lowe in as Space Ghost, that's a fucking crime.
That one, I imagine they'd keep the same, because that voice is so iconic that, oh my god, if they changed that, holy shit.
Oh man, but then it's gonna come in with the territory. What are they gonna do for Zorak because the main fucking voice actor passed away?
Oh yeah, that one, that sucks. God knows who they'd get for that.
In this hypothetical situation, they'll probably go with somebody along the lines of, I don't know, like maybe they'll pull Fred Durst, a nice big name.
Justin Roiland as Zorak.
Dude, just get fucking Justin Roiland, or fucking hell, Mark Hamill would do it.
Hell yeah. Oh my god, actually, oh damn.
Mark Hamill would super do it for anything William Street.
Yeah, it's true.
But I've always been kind of like split on which of the Scooby genre has like been my favorite in terms of like whether or not they're actually dealing with the supernatural stuff or not, because the generation of Scooby-Doo I remember the most were like the new Scooby movies, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul Schools, Scooby-Doo meets the werewolf, shit
That's
like
when
that.
you got in?
No, but that is, I had like all those VHSs and they would be playing a lot when I was a kid.
Dude, what was the one with the 12 ghosts?
That's the one with Vincent Price.
Vincent Price, yes! Oh, man, I remember that so much more when I was a kid!
Yeah, so like they actually did explore them doing supernatural.
The Boo Brothers?
I don't think that was... Wait, that might have been... 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. The Boo Brothers was another one.
Yeah, like that was the Scrappy-Doo generation.
Yeah, I never liked
He was
Scrappy-Doo.
in all those movies.
As a kid, I never liked Scooby-Doo. Or Scrappy-Doo, that is, sorry.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo to me as a kid was always like... I never was like super into Scooby-Doo, but I'd always watch it. It's that weird sort of relationship. It was like this It's the Lay's potato chips of cartoons. You know, you start watching it, and you don't just stop.
Yeah.
No, that's super fair, because, again, like, they employed, like, as much as they had a lot of cartoons out, it's because they employed a lot of tactics that most people would call schlocky in today's day and age. Like, you know, how the fact that we have fucking Yogi Bear and there are 12 different iterations of Ranger Smith.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just copy and paste. Like, Jabberjaw was just a copy-paste of Scooby-Doo, just with a shark.
Yeah. Jabberjaw, Josie and the Pussycats, Dune Buggy.
Speed Buggy was great, though. Speed Buggy was stupid as fuck.
I'd like to point something out, by the way. We have spent over half of this podcast talking about literally anything but the actual movie.
Because I don't
We're
want
talking
to
about
see spoilers.
Scooby-Doo, man.
I know, but it's
That's
just
the
funny.
subject matter.
No, all I'm saying is, I think that's kind of speaking a little bit toward the movie.
Well,
Honestly,
also I'm holding
I
back on spoilers as much as I fucking possibly can.
Well then, here I want to talk about the movie because I
Okay,
have
fine.
I have
you want to
opinions.
go into spoilers? Here's spoiler territory. Let's talk about Captain Caveman.
Yes!
Man, okay, so we're just gonna jump right into that. Fucking Tracy Morgan as Captain Caveman being
When they just-
boss.
When they travel to just this random Mesozoic era island in the middle of an icy mountain.
When they showed off the fucking purple, the fucking dinosaurs. Oh god, words escape me. What are the ones that fly? Pterodactyl? Yeah.
Pterodactyl.
When they show off the purple pterodactyls, which is like in almost every fucking Pulp Fiction cartoon from Hanna-Barbera. And I'm like, no, okay, one of two things is happening here. We're either getting Herculoids or we're getting fucking Captain Caveman. And then when Captain Caveman showed up, I fucking lost my mind because that's my favorite Hanna-Barbera character.
I gotta say, getting Tracy Morgan as him was like, okay, another big name, all right, and fine.
He played it well. Like
They weren't gonna go with the old voice, Captain Caveman!
Yeah.
they weren't gonna pull in a big celebrity to do that voice because it wouldn't fucking matter.
Well,
Just
I
get
mean,
Tracy Morgan to be Tracy Morgan.
If they wanted to make it original, then you would just have one guy walk in and just go, Unga Bunga. He wouldn't talk!
But no, I won't lie though. After I got past the whiplash of like, that is Tracy Morgan as Captain Caveman, I had fun. He was fun. He was fun.
And then all the other Captain Cavemans come in, and I'm just like, oh god, there's a whole race of Captain Cavemans.
Yeah, they all walking out with their cousin it looking asses. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah!
I love the Hanna-Barbera non-Flintstones cavemen. They look great.
When they get to fucking just do whatever the fuck they want and design it works. Okay, we're in spoiler territory, so now I can talk about it. Muttley is the perfect fucking square. I can't believe how animated they made a square look, and it looks so good.
So
it was the like that entire movie when they introduced Dick Dastardly. I'm like, you know, they got the whole man and their dog dynamic going on. Where the hell is Muttley? And finally they show this like kind of sad scene where they're like the rest of the gang, as Scooby and Shaggy are wandering off on their own, just looking around Dick's ship as he's kidnapped them, and they find a shrine to Muttley, who has apparently passed away.
yeah, like what? I knew early on, it was like when Muttley wasn't there, I'm like, where the fuck is Muttley? And then the moment that he talks about trying to open the gates to the underworld, I'm like, oh shit, Muttley's dead!
And this entire thing has been about Dick Dastardly trying to get his dog back.
Trying to revive his dog, and I'm just like, that's fucking weird and stupid, and I love it.
Yeah,
It was adorable.
it was.
was.
It was literally the perfect plot for a villain like Dick Dastardly, because he'll do whatever evil thing it takes, but he's doing it for this weirdly like personal and almost pure reason. And I'm like, what the hell? This is amazing.
Because it's not
Did you see the
strange
scene where he like made this weird magic science machine that opens up a portal to the netherworld into this weird gold treasure room that I guess Alexander the Great had or something, and then like he ushers Muttley to go through it to go grab the gold, but Muttley can't get back through, so he's trapped in the netherworld. So he has to go find the 3 heads of Cerberus to open the netherworld.
But to do that, to open. He needs the key, which is Scooby-Doo, who is literally the only living ancestor of Alexander's dog, Frerichs, a.k.a. Alexander the Great Dane.
Mm-hmm. When you turn your brain off, it's good. If you think about it too much, when you think about it too much, it's please stop.
I loved it. I love the plot of this movie is good. I actually, except for the fucking like forced conflict with Scooby and Shaggy, but the actual like story is good. Like I was like
the concept behind it. Unfortunately, like the way they wanted it to pay off, you kind of needed a forced conflict between the two best friends.
Yeah,
and then the fucking ending fell on its face because like, okay, we're just gonna go ahead and talk about it. Fuck it, why not? So they find out that the prophecy states that the bond between two best friends of a man and a dog can close the gates of Cerberus like Alexander and Frerichs. But the problem is that one person has to be on the opposite end of the gate, so someone has to stay back in hell.
Yeah, so stealing from Dragon Ball GT, where Piccolo stayed behind, so Goku could...
Actually,
nice.
So yeah, there's that whole thing. Before we get to that, because that's literally like the end of the movie, I want to talk about Blue Falcon and
Dynomutt, the best fucking animated character in the entire film.
Okay, yeah. Wow, does Dynomutt steal this film? Like, flawlessly?
It's because as an adult, that sardonic, eye-rolling humor kind of plays to you.
I could not get over the line, Brian, those are a lot of words that a man your age shouldn't be using. And
the last time you used Tinder, you thought it was a website that actually sends firewood.
Although Brian probably killed it on Tinder.
Yeah, actually. By the way, every time I heard Brian, I kept thinking of Brian Olvera.
Oh,
like every time, I'm like, God damn it! Every time, Brian. I'm like, fuck.
Well, that's for any fucking thing. Like, there was a film where someone kept saying Kathy, and I'm like, God, stop saying my mom's name. God, it fucking weirds me out.
Oh God, anytime there's a character named Scott, I'm like, fucking stop it.
That's why I'm glad there's not a whole lot of Nicks in media.
I guess
How do you feel? How do you think I felt when I kept playing RE5 and I kept hearing Wesker crass?
I would be honored.
Fucking. Yeah, by the way, so in this movie, I guess we're really into spoilers, so it doesn't matter. You probably either seen it or don't care. But Blue Falcon is not the original Blue Falcon. It's actually the son of the original Blue Falcon, which I thought was actually a clever twist.
That's actually, again, they do nice little things that, like, evolve the story to keep it relevant, but also the same.
Yeah. So, Brian is, like, the Blue Falcon in this movie is kind of, it's weird because Dynomutt in the original cartoon is actually the goofy one, and in the film, Blue Falcon is the one who's out of his depth, and Dynomutt misses his dad a lot.
Very, I'm not finished. Very much.
I love that. Oh man, I'm sorry. It was actually that clip. Somebody posted that to Twitter, and I saw that. I'm like, I gotta watch the movie right now. I don't care how bad it is. That one scene, I was like, I just need to watch this movie for this robot dog.
That's the best way I could describe it. Like, I thought it was okay. I, for the most part, enjoyed my experience with it, but I would say it is a flawed movie with a lot of great moments.
There are some really good moments. Like, really good jokes, too.
Like Shaggy breaking down fucking Brian's imposter syndrome right in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
when he just deconstructs him right in front of his face. He's like,
Yeah, he just walks away.
Also, the fucking F-bomb joke caught me off guard hard.
Why don't you drop some F-bombs? God damn it, I'm going to end up doing an actual Shaggy impression. Just drop some F-bombs. Whoa, we're trying to keep it PG here. No, your Falcon bombs.
Your Falcon bombs, man.
It is really funny that Shaggy, of all people, knows fucking Blue Falcon better than Blue Falcon.
Well, I mean, he was...
It's implied as a child that he, like, I mean, that's... When they went and got mugged by the Juggalos, that's what he and Scooby were dressed as, Blue Falcon and Dynomutt.
I like how they established that, like, there are other Hanna-Barbera characters that are very well established, like, as other things. Like, superheroes exist, villains exist, like, the fact that they fucking went to Mystery Island exists. Like, the whole universe is connected in some way, but... And there are loose, like, facsimiles of the characters knowing what they are. Like, that's really nice.
I just hope somewhere out there in that world, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, is actually happening.
I want
God,
a whole
yes.
fucking film of that. I want a whole film of that, and I don't want them to be fucking PG about it. I want them to go full fucking Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. I want them to do that with that film. That was what I said at the end when they fucking showed off the illustration of Dr. Quest, like real human being Dr. Quest next to the characters, and I'm just like, oh fuck me, I need a Harvey Birdman cartoon.
But yeah, it seems like they're... It's kind of like a soft launch for this Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, and with its release direct to streaming platforms, I mean, I know Trolls did really well, apparently did better than the first film did in theaters, according to some sources, but I don't know how well Scoob is doing, and I don't know if this is something that's going to warrant sequels because of how it got released like this.
I feel like it will, because you know what this feels like? This doesn't feel like a movie, as this feels like a special, like Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. Like, this feels like a glorified version of something like that. Where,
that's kind of what I mean, but you know this had like a way bigger budget than that. I mean, hell, the actors that they decided to get for this alone probably cost more than that movie cost to make.
Yeah,
like
but,
the Ghoul
like,
School.
But Hanna-Barbera cartoons are like cockroaches. You fucking squash all of them and they come back. They never die.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying like if this doesn't do well, Scoob's gone forever, but it's more along the lines of, do you think that this will do well enough in the way it is released to generate a path forward?
If it opens up to more platforms, I believe it will. This is actually a very, very well done way to give people more movies, and it will give a lot of movies a lot more eyes than how it used to be back in the day. But they gotta open the platforms. They can't do exclusives anymore. YouTube's very good. Amazon Prime, I mean, okay, sure, but then if you also put it on something like Hulu, then yeah, this will get a lot more attention.
I think the biggest problems with things like if you want to stream it directly to Hulu and Netflix, none of those have an inherent, I mean, actually, I can't speak for Hulu, but an inherent rental monetization function. I'm pretty sure most of those are just subscription services where you're just getting what they have in their library, right?
Yeah, but then again, you could also get people like me who are just like, I don't want to take the time to understand what the rental system does, so I'm just going to buy the film flat out.
Yeah, I ended up renting, saved myself, I think, like $15. I think it's like they're selling it on Amazon for $35 and
30. I got it for $24.
Yeah.
Shrug. I didn't really pay attention to the price, but I know it was like rent it for $20 or something.
Yeah, it was like $5 extra to buy it.
But I know this isn't going to be a movie I'm gonna go back years later and be like, oh man, I really want to watch Scoob again. Like that's kind of what I mean with this. I think it was okay. I have absorbed it, and I'm probably not going to think about it again unless they make a sequel.
I will certainly not think about this film much beyond this podcast, to be completely honest, because it was not a bad movie. I've seen bad movies, but the good parts about it are like sprinkled throughout, while the bad stuff is actually kind of metally bad. Like, again, the stuff about the actors and what they did to them, the actual impressions, the designs, everything just kind of feels like this feels so corporate, so incredibly corporate. This does not feel like a film made by people who love Scooby-Doo.
It's a focus group movie.
Mm-hmm. I could feel that, because the whole ending where fucking Shaggy just comes back, no explanation.
Oh, okay. Remember when I said I was able to guess everything that was going to happen except for one part of the movie because it was that fucking dumb?
The statue coming out of nowhere and just being like, hey, Scoob, you want to bring back Shaggy from the dead?
Yeah.
I wish he was coming back. There you go.
Yeah.
Told you we wouldn't be apart forever.
Like,
Because
what?
we want sequels.
Like, I thought the film was setting up for a sequel where they had to go.
You think it was going to do like a Search for Spock type of sequel?
Yes.
But
I don't know.
man, like, it would have been better than the ending we got because that was dumb as hell.
I mean, the ending is absolutely forgettable, but that's the thing. This movie is like book ended by meh, but in the in-between it has like super memorable moments like fucking Captain Caveman showing up, and there's a lot of decent moments in this movie that make you enjoy it. I wouldn't call this movie forgettable. I'm just not necessarily going to think about it.
The movie has like this big sin of just like it's blank, like it's just white noise until finally in some parts of the movie it goes, "Hey, wake the fuck up!" like over and over and over again, and then you're back to sleep. Like, God, that's what sucks. It's like the wake up moments are some of the best stuff in the whole film, but then you fall asleep throughout the rest of it, kind of like most of fucking Hanna-Barbera's cartoons.
Yeah.
Kind of like how their entire repertoire is.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Hanna-Barbera has way more garbage than it has actually good stuff.
I dub it the apocalypse of animation because of all the things I listed off before, where it's like they do double ups and they fucking just take tropes and do stupid shit with it.
The looping backgrounds.
Yeah.
Which was revolutionary for its time, quite literally actually, but just cycling through the backgrounds as you just like have them on a walk model. It gives you the illusion, but I think mostly what this movie is, it's just like, it's a testament to exactly how the legacy of Scooby-Doo has held out, even if this movie has done that legacy a disservice in a place or two. It's weird to think about like how much Scooby-Doo there is out there. I would be willing to bet that Scooby-Doo has more crossovers than any other fictional character.
Yeah, you might be right.
Because
I'm gonna look up something. You go ahead. Keep going.
I have a list. They've met with the Three Stooges. I think actually two different versions of the Three Stooges.
Damn.
I'm correct. They've met with Batman numerous times, multiple versions of the Batman, the Addams Family, Josie and the Pussycats, I Dream of Fucking Genie back in the 70s, Speed Buggy, Captain Caveman, of course, here and in previous forms, Richie Rich, I'm pretty sure Yogi Bear appeared on A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. Yep, there it is.
Yep. Well, do you count the All-Stars, the cartoon All-Stars film?
How could you not?
Fair.
There was that awesome episode of Johnny Bravo.
Oh yeah.
They had and also in that era, around his cartoon presidency era, I think this is when he was campaigning, he had a crossover with Courage the Cowardly Dog. If you want to count it, the episode of Harvey Birdman.
Yeah.
I'd count it.
Of course. He's been on Looney Tunes, Back in Action, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy had an episode, Supernatural had an episode.
Supernatural's so good!
I loved Scooby-Natural. Scooby-Natural was the best episode that season. Shown up in like the Gremlins movies. I think they had a Johnny Quest crossover. Yep. Hold on, what the fuck? In the Hodag of Horror, Jason Voorhees' mask makes an appearance. Okay, so apparently Jason is in the Scooby lexicon. Teen Titans, Wonder Woman, The Flintstones, The Jetsons, Superman, Secret Squirrel, Lego Dimensions. That's a massive crossover if you want to count that one.
Yeah.
He's been on The Flash.
He met Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's been on, yeah. He's been in a Shazam comic.
Oh, are we counting comics now too?
If we are, then it goes even
because
deeper
the list
than that.
will go on forever.
It will. But yeah, Scooby has been with pretty much everybody. Of course, the Harlem Globetrotters, Elvira.
Oh, dude, my favorite is the Kiss one because they gave them all Magical Girl sequences literally directly pulled from Sailor Moon.
And let's not forget the time they went to WWE City
Oh yeah.
to fight Kane in a cage.
Was there
Remember when John Cena pulled a Chris Redfield?
Yes.
Yeah.
I that was one of the modern where I'll actually use the word for real modern Scooby movies that I went out of my way to see.
Yeah.
Okay, there was one fucking gag, now that you say the wrestling one. There was one gag in the movie where they were just like, Shaggy, you have no potential. I'm just like, are they literally gonna make a fucking Shaggy only uses 0.2% of his power level fucking gag in this movie?
Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
Yep, I thought they were gonna pull an Ultra Instinct Shaggy thing, like he's the great Alexander's ancestor or some shit.
Oh man! By the way,
and they have him fight the Cerberus ghost.
I was really happy they didn't do that. I was like, okay, look, that I can deal with Scoob, not also Shaggy. That would just be. Yeah.
Remember when they almost freaked you out and made you think it was Fred for like 15 seconds?
I liked his. I love his love for the Mystery Machine.
Oh man! Oh, can we talk about what they did to the Mystery Machine though? Jesus!
What, they broke it apart?
They destroyed it and then replaced it with an Apple Store version.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, they gave them like a shot. I don't like to think that means that they aren't going to get the van fixed. I think they were just going for the aesthetic.
I would have been okay if they'd just been like, we took all the original parts, had to replace some stuff, but, you know, and then gave them the original one back, and then they give them this thing that looks awful. It looks really bad.
Well, I firmly believe that whatever sequel, if they do make one, which they probably will, whatever sequel they make going forward, it's not going to focus on Scooby. They're going to be there, but it's going to focus on another Hanna-Barbera franchise.
I think it's very important that we build up to basically this WB's version of the Avengers, Wacky Races.
Yes, you're absolutely fucking right. Penelope Pitstop is probably going to be the main protagonist in the next one.
As I said, they were basically going to, like, that. The Wacky Races were originally going to play a much bigger part of the film.
But you can't just do that. That's WB learned from their mistake with how they handled the superhero, the DC universe. They're like, no, you can't just jump in with the big crossover event. We learned that. We fucked that up already. We have to build. We have to tease. We can give them Captain Caveman. We can give them Dick Dastardly. But we save Wacky Races. Wacky Races is gonna be our next billion-dollar franchise.
I mean, they gave you fucking Grape Ape in the credits.
Oh, God.
You mean Magilla Gorilla?
They're both the same. Again, copy-paste.
So, by the way, Brian's in the chat, and he brings up something. I don't know if we want to talk about this right now.
If we're talking about Warner Brothers.
Oh, yep. Okay, so, heads up, if you are a fan of the Snyder DC movies, if you are a fan of the DCEU in general, you are not going to like anything that I have to say for the next 10 minutes, other than I actually really liked Wonder Woman, and I thought Shazam was their best film. So, the Snyder
I actually rewatched Wonder Woman recently. It's okay. Continue.
So the Snyder Cut's happening of Justice League.
Yup.
Yep.
I shrug my shoulders and stare off into the middle distance.
Yep.
I couldn't care less, honestly. Like, some people really want to see it, and for whatever god unknown reason, I'm guessing it's because they have literally nothing in the pipeline right now. Warner is willing to throw in another, $50 million to pump this out?
20.
Plus marketing. So, yeah, usually you double it for marketing.
Yeah. Basically,
pay off my
WB
student
is
loans
going to
with
put
that money.
$20 million into making the Zack Snyder director's cut of Justice League happen for HBO Max. So I gotta say this. I don't want to punish good fans of the DCEU. And by good fans, I mean the people who said, oh man, I would love the Zack Snyder cut. I hope that comes out one day. And then occasionally bring up like, man, I hope we get that. And the people who are respectful and just basically mature on their social media platforms, especially when directed at the studio. On the other hand, to all the people that I saw constantly harassing actors, directors, and studio accounts with release the Snyder Cut, fuck you. You don't deserve this movie. You don't. You don't deserve this fucking movie.
Kaiser, you're going at this the wrong way. It's gonna be shit, so yeah, they do.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right.
Yeah, I was about to say, yelling at them will probably get you a product, but it will get you a product that they are jaded and hate and will probably give you the worst fucking version of it ever.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to shit on the people who were cool about this, but the people who were not cool, man, fuck them. And I don't want to rob good movie-going people, good fans of something that they want. I know I'm not gonna like the movie. I don't like Zack Snyder. I like maybe 2.5 of his films. And
I like 300.
Huh?
I like 300, and I will admit that I actually kind of stan Watchmen. I like Watchmen.
Hey,
I can deal with Watchmen.
I hate Watchmen, but I'm not gonna judge you for liking Watchmen.
Yes, you are.
Okay, I really am, but that's not the point.
Oh, Scott, you know I don't care about anything you think about me, so it doesn't fucking matter.
But, like, this film, I was not a fan of the film when it came out, and I do not believe that giving Zack Snyder more creative freedom is going to fix that, because his effect on these films has made them worse every step of the way for me. Because he wants to make them these gritty, dark, cynical films, and that, I can't.
That's never been what DC was to me. Like, DC to me, growing up, was the DC animated universe, which was, it's amazing how they kind of, like, went way to the other side of that coin in both cases, because Marvel's animated stuff coming up, I'm like, wow, this is nothing compared to the DC stuff. And then when the live action stuff started coming out, it's like, wow, DC can't hold a candle to Marvel.
No.
Think of it this way. Will you run with me on this hypothesis? I feel that DC is way more invested in making a good story, whereas Marvel is way more invested in making good action.
Well, they're invested in making good, memorable characters.
Wait, they're invested in making a good story?
Yeah,
Cite your sources, sir.
Okay, this is before the 2000s, Nick. Before the 2000s.
Oh, okay, before the 2000s. Okay, I thought we were talking about the movies here.
No,
okay.
no, before the 2000s, comics and everything.
All right, okay. That makes way more sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
cite your damn sources, son.
Yeah, like, and again, I'm already gonna tell you, I've never liked a majority of the DCEU. I've been very honest about that. Again, I actually really enjoyed Shazam, and I liked most of Wonder Woman. I thought its third half fell off, but you know what? It still had a cool, interesting story to tell. I just do not like Snyder touching anything in the DC universe. I hate it. He's so cynical and so shitty about everything. And I know some people like that. I know they want their more thought-provoking, edgier, darker toned Superman film and Batman films. They think that Batman killing people is okay. I understand. You like that. I do not. And I think it shits all over everything that those characters tried to build up for the last 70 years. Whatever.
But he's not killing people. He's just doing things, and sometimes people die when he does things. You don't understand.
Exactly.
That's what multiverse is for, though. Like, everyone can have a piece of the pie with their Batman. It doesn't fucking matter.
But yeah.
That was like the thing with Batman v Superman that, like, just I knew I wasn't going to like anything moving forward after that. It's like, what have you done to Batman? I thought Ben Affleck could have been a really good Batman.
So good.
He was a great Bruce Wayne. I thought I wasn't huge on the look of the bat suit, that Frank Miller suit that they had going on. It was okay, but I honestly felt like he would have been a really good Batman in a better Batman movie.
To be completely honest with you, his Batman still moved around and kicked more ass. He felt more like Batman generally on screen than a lot of the other Batmen. So when he started killing people left and right, by the way, just murdering people, I was like, ooh, okay, I can't get on with this.
Using rockets to blow up cars, like, he wasn't acting like Batman.
Okay.
There was a scene in that movie that I we're way off the Scoob bandwagon. Not technically, no, he crossed over with Batman.
No, he crossed over, we're fine. It's fine.
There was a scene in Batman versus Superman that I thought, like, Actually, no. It was the lack of a scene that I really wanted to see. Do you remember, like, there was a point where he had to go get the kryptonite from LexCorp?
Yep.
Why didn't we get to see that scene? Him actually sneaking in, like, getting into a building and getting out without, you know, like, being Batman the ninja.
Because Zack Snyder...
using his gadget to be cool.
Zack Snyder hates your characters. He hates Superman, and he hates Batman. And if you think he doesn't, listen to him talk about Superman and Batman. He'll call you a fucking idiot for liking the things that you like, and then he'll shit all over the characters that you like. He will do that. He will do that with a plum.
I just fucking imagine, like, just when you go, he hates your characters, I just grab my sketchbook and hug it to my chest. No!
He hates Superman. He hates Superman. And of course he hates Batman, because he told everybody, if you think Batman doesn't kill people, you're a fucking idiot. That's what he told everyone.
So then I think I have an idea for a movie that could satisfy everyone, because nothing would happen. We have a Batman movie where Batman is treated like the really bad Godzilla film where he only shows up for 5 seconds. Like he's this force of nature that no one can understand because he's never on screen, and if you do, you see his toe. That's it. You see his cape, and you hear him go, blah, blah, and that's it. That's all you get of him. That's the entire movie. $18 plus popcorn. Fuck you.
And that ties us back around to the conversation of names in media, because that was one of the few examples of a Nick in a movie that I can remember. That was Matthew Broderick's character's name.
Who?
You know, Matthew Broderick.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Today, Scooby-Doo
He's a bigger name than Will Forte, damn it!
Today, Scooby-Doo meets Matthew Broderick.
Hi, Scooby.
Who are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Oh yeah, man, fucking Superman, someone just dropped Superman versus the Elite. That is one of the best Superman films ever made, and it was all about, no, I don't kill people. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
But we're also going back at that point to just the animated version of DC is just superior.
Yeah,
Just is.
Absolutely, 100%.
Even if some of the more recent movies, like trying to go with the New 52 stuff, haven't been that good, it's still better than pretty much anything they're doing live action. Yes, I include the shitty CW stuff.
Yeah.
You?
Fucking Green Arrow was good for a season, Flash was good for a season, and then they torpedoed.
Yeah, I don't know, I used to watch Flash when it was like, whenever it would pop up on Netflix. It never felt good. It was like, it wasn't a guilty pleasure, but it was watching trash to me. The worst part about trying to watch that stuff on Netflix is when they have those big crossover specials. They all take place across the various shows, so you can never find part A, B, and C because they're all on different fucking seasons.
Oh, wow. It is based off of comics.
Yeah, it's pretty bad like that.
This feels like the Grundom scenario with me, where I can never fucking get into Grundom because there's so many spreading across so much.
But at least Gundam has at least their shows are alternate universes where they're all encapsulated. Like there's only one UC, and that's easier to follow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at least when you're watching a big event in G Gundam, you don't have to go over to, like, Unicorn Gundam to find the next part of it, and then switch back to MS Team or some shit.
Already I'm holding my temples, looking at my desk going, what the fuck is going on?
I'm sorry, hold on. When are we gonna get the Scooby Gundam universe crossover?
Scooby Gundam universe, yeah!
Oh man, yeah, he hasn't crossed that barrier yet, has he?
Today, Scooby-Doo meets Sailor Moon.
Huh, I wonder how big Scooby...
Redraw Sailor Moon as Scooby-Doo challenge.
Yes!
There you go.
I want to know how big Scooby is in Japan.
Hard to say.
He's a Great Dane, so wouldn't that mean he's a fucking dire wolf?
Compared to the dogs that they have in Japan, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how popular Scooby-Doo is in Japan. I know, like, certain media from here, like...
Tom and Jerry is fucking massive there!
Is it?
It's stupid massive in Japan.
What is?
Tom and Jerry, apparently.
Oh, yeah, Tom and Jerry's big in Japan.
I fucking went to a fucking museum when I was over at Japan, and there was a whole wig dedicated to Tom and Jerry, and I'm like, this is fucking uncanny.
Yeah. It's really interesting because they name drop Tom and Jerry all the time in anime, just all of the time. Yeah, it's weird. Oh yeah, and Snoopy's big out there, but that makes sense. Snoopy's design is just perfect for that sort of thing. He's very Sanrio.
Yeah. It's also very easy to draw, just black on white, just little. What type of dog is Snoopy again?
He's a beagle.
He's a beagle?
He's a beagle.
Yeah, he's a beagle. Beagle dog.
Little black and white beagle.
Well, I think we've about tapped the well of Scoob for this evening, so thank you all for joining us here today. It's been wonderful talking at you. Hope you're staying happy and healthy out there. We'll see you guys next time on the Talkcast Podshow.
Have a good week.
Play later, guys!